Hello, hello. Are we live? Yes, good. Good shit. Alright. What's going on here? Where's Randy? I'm here. Alright, let me know if you can hear me, if everything's alright. Okay. Oh, so okay, hold on. Let me just there you go. Let me just zoom in like that. Okay, perfect. Here, okay, perfect. Hello, boys. Hello, everybody. Okay, so as the title says, today we're gonna turn our platformer into a tower defense game. Now, obviously, it's not gonna be done in like 2 hours or whatever, right? But we're gonna start doing that, right? And it could be slightly louder though. Well, oh, hold on. Is it? Okay, well, my mic is like at the max volume it can detect, so I don't know. I'm not gonna start screaming, unfortunately. Um, but as I was saying, we're gonna start transforming our platformer into a tower defense. Now, what this means is that I'm not going to like remove everything that we've done so far. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a different scene, and I'm going to create a completely different set of scripts in that scene, but um, I will reuse as much from the platformer code as possible, so that I can show you guys how you can like reuse your code and like slightly modify it to do multiple things with it, right? And the idea behind that is that when you're making a game, it's a creative process, right? Like, and I'm assuming we're all solo developers here, right? So that means that you have no creative constraints. You don't have to like, um, oh my God, what's the word? You don't have to compromise with other creatives, right? Because let's say if there's a team of three of us making a game, or even two of us, you need to compromise with the other person, right? Unless like the other person is completely mindless, in which case you might as well be a solo developer, right? But that's like not real, right? Like in real life, people have agency and they have desires and everything, right? So like my vision of a game is not necessarily going to be the same as the like my coworker's vision, or like my business partner's vision of that same game. And so we're going to have to compromise and stuff like that, right? But in a situation where you're a solo developer, which means that you have full creative control, right? And like I'm assuming you're not being like financed by a publisher, because if you're being financed by a publisher, then we go back to square one, where like you have to compromise with whatever constraints the publisher puts on you, right? But if you're completely independent, like financially independent solo developer, you have full creative freedom, which means that at any point in time, you might decide to make drastic changes to your game, right? And the further along the development path you are, the more complicated that becomes, right? Because now your scripts are all tangled with one another, right? And so modifying something in one script can create a domino effect and like cause a bunch of problems in like 3 or 4 other scripts, or maybe even more than that, right? And so you want to avoid that. And so here I'm going to show you how you can basically have like different prototypes in the same Unity project, and eventually like pick and choose what code you like from which script, and like make things interesting basically, right? So as you can see here, we have our assets and we have the scripts folder, right? And now what I'm gonna create is another folder inside of the scripts folder, and I'm gonna call it the platformer scripts, okay? And I'm gonna put everything inside, okay? Like just drag and drop, there you go. And now as you can see, here it says like missing, blah, 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 right? Like it's gonna say the same thing to every single one of my scripts. Why? Because I changed the path to them, right? So let me just give you an example. Also, let me just do something here. Okay, there you go. Okay, so where is it? Where is it? Unity game dev tutorial. Okay, so as you can see here in our folders, we have like the game dev tutorials and whatnot, right? And if I click in assets and then scripts, see, now we have platformer scripts, right? Which is the path to all of my scripts. So when you change, like here, it's just a visual representation of this thing. It's the exact same thing, right? Like when you're here in your assets, you're like in your project folder, you're accessing, it's the same thing as like doing what I've been doing here, right? So for instance, if I were to double click here, now right click, new folder, and call it tower defense script, right? Now let's see, boom, see, it appeared here, you know? So now hold on, I'm just gonna grab my Raycast manager. Oh, well, it's not letting me. Okay, well, I'm gonna do it here then. Where is the Raycast manager? There you go. Raycast manager, and I'm gonna put in my tower defense script. And now here, I'm just gonna delete this. Again, like, I think I said this before, but only once, so I'm gonna repeat it. Here, the green icon is the actual script, and the like white page type of thing, it's like a backup. You can set up in the Unity project, I think, like in the project settings, I think you can set up whether you want the backup or not, like the meta file and stuff. I keep them just in case, because you never know, right? But it's up to you at the end of the day, right? Okay. Oh, yeah, so now that I changed it, here it should disappear if you look at the Raycast Manager script. Okay, well, okay, there you go. Now it's disappeared, and now it's here. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna close all of these since they're not working anymore, okay? And instead, I'm gonna open this. Okay, perfect. There you go, okay? So now I'm gonna explain to you guys how Raycasts work, right? But as usual, I'm not necessarily the best person to explain like Raycasts or just anything really. Just because, like, you know me, I start like rambling off and like I don't know exactly the proper terms to use, so I'm gonna use ChatGPT to explain it properly, but I'm gonna tell it to use this script as an example, right? So let me just do this. Okay, so I'm currently messing around in Unity 6. I'm messing around in Unity 6 by making a bunch of different prototypes. Exactly. I'm currently making a very rudimentary Raycast script, and I'd like you to explain to me what Raycasts are, how they work, and combine your explanations with the script I've made. Here's the script in question for reference. Okay, now I'm just gonna copy paste. There we go. Okay, there you go. We're just gonna copy paste. ChatGPT. Are scripts still assigned to game objects now that you move the files? Oh yeah, I forgot, but I was gonna look that up. So while ChatGPT is doing its thing, let's look. Okay, hold on. Okay, save project. So let's say spawner. Yeah, the scripts are fine. Actually, let's press play and look. Boom. Oh. Yeah. Oh shit. Ah! No! Okay. Get back, heathens! Alright, yeah. So everything pretty much seems to be working. You know, oh. Alright. Alright, yeah. Okay, perfect. Alright, so let's go back to here. So had to double check. Unity keeps track of scripts. Yeah, exactly. It's more so Visual Studio that bugs out when this happens, right? So yeah, you're off to a great start. Prototyping with raycasting is an excellent way to understand how Unity interprets user input and interacts with the 3D world. So what is a raycast in Unity? In simple terms, a raycast is like shooting an invisible laser from a point in space in a specific direction to see what it hits, okay? Unity's physics.raycast checks if that quote-unquote laser, in parentheses the ray, collides with any colliders in the scene, and if it does, it gives you details about what it hit, such as the object it hit, collider, the point of impact, which is point, and the normal of the surface hit, normal. Now, this last point, normal, I don't really use it, but anyways, right? Okay, how raycasts work using code, right? So the line ray mouse ray placement equals camera dot main dot screen to point ray screen point to ray in parentheses input dot mouse input. What it's doing, this converts the 2D mouse position on the screen into a 3D ray, so like a 3D laser that starts at the camera and goes through the point the mouse is pointing to in the world, right? So in other words, wherever my mouse is pointing, it's like shooting a beam through it, right? Later on, once I get it working and show you guys how it works in action, you're gonna get a better idea of like how how it works pretty much, right? So hold on, let me just show you here. So this line here, ray mouse ray placement equals blah blah blah. That's what it does, right? It creates like this actually creates the ray, right? The raycast, if you will, right? This raycast hit, we just create a variable, a temporary variable that's going to be used to represent whatever is hit by the raycast, right? So it's pretty much that simple, okay? So the line, if physics.raycast mouse ray placement, which is the raycast, so this here, well, yeah, anyways. So basically this line here, right, what it's doing, shoots a ray into the scene up to 1000 units long, right? So this here, the first element is which ray are we going to be using. Now, since I not assigned, but I oh my god, I forgot the word. But basically, since I like created the ray with this line here, right? Now I have a reference to this ray. And so now by putting this, it's like I'm using my reference to this ray, right? I just got on a Avowed DLC purchase promotion for the Xbox app. Something smells like desperation. Yeah, well, hey, if they're so obsessed with losing money, good for them, you know? Okay, so as I was saying, right, like basically, hold on. Basically, this line here, right, what it does is with the physics.raycast, this is what like this is the ray in question, but if we don't have this, it's not going to do anything, right? Here I just create a variable of type ray, right? Whose value is this, right? It's just the like the beam from the like based on the mouse's position on screen, right? Now here physics.raycast, as I said, this uses the reference to whichever ray we want to use, right? And then here the out mouse coordinates placement is just like which variable is it going to use to reference whatever it hits, right? Which we've created it here in advance, right? So, and as it says here, these are the coordinates of the mouse cursor when mouse over any placement area, right? Then this here is the maximum distance, right? What this means is that if you're looking at something on the screen, right? Like, how can I say, like in the game world, right? Like, let's say the distance between this thing and this is 1,000, right? And so I guess the distance between this and that is 2,000, let's say, right? Well, because the limit is 1,000, right? The beam is only gonna go up to here, right? If I were to make it 2,000, the beam would go all the way up to here. If I made it 1,500, the beam would go all the way up to somewhere around here, right? So that's just the logic, right? And the idea behind that is that sometimes you don't need a ray to be like 10 million units long, right? Like you just need it to get the job done, right? And like, let's say if none of your scenes are ever going to be bigger than like 500 by 500, right? Then you're never going to need it to be like bigger than 1,000. But by making it 1,000, you guarantee that it's for sure going to hit whatever is inside the scene. You know what I mean? And then the last thing here is the layer that we're using, right? Which is a variable that I've created on my own here, right? I created these two layer variables, which the layers simply, it's simply a way of separating the different things that the player can interact with, right? So for instance, this ray, by adding a layer, like constraint, let's say, to the creation of the raycast here, right? Because basically this method here creates the raycast, right? So it's using this ray and it's looking to see if this has any value, right? And the ray goes to a distance of 1,000 and it only interacts with objects that are inside of this layer. So if an object is outside of this layer, the ray just goes through it. It's as if it doesn't detect it, right? So for instance, let's say the ray goes, it starts from the blue character here, right? And let's say you want to hit the orange cube here, but the white one is like in the way, for instance. Well, by putting, so here, if you see, you have the tags at the top right, you know, the tags, which is what we were using to do the collisions. Well, the layers, it's kind of the same thing, right? So you have transparent layer, ignore raycast, etc., etc. So as you can see here, we have our placement layer and we have our towers layer, which I'm not using for now. And I've assigned them using bit shift, like this is called bit shift. I forgot what the explanation is. Maybe ChatGPT is going to explain it, but the general idea is that by doing this, you're creating a private integer which represents whose value is 13, right? And so basically when you're doing this, it's the same if I just wrote this, basically, right? It's the exact same as if I did this. It's just that this is easier, right? Because it allows you to like have more manual control over the layers. And what this means is that if I go here, add layer at layer 13, it's placement, I think, right? Yeah, compare tag, placement area. So this here is the tag that we're using, right? But this here, it's the placement layer, right? So let's go back to Unity. placement. And then 14, I think it was towers, right? So now that I've given these names, it's just easier for me logically. But even if I hadn't given them names, or no, actually, yeah. So if I hadn't given them names, so let's remove the towers, for instance, right? And let's select like my spawner object. Here, if I click here, see now that I've given a name to layer 13, I can use it, right? But I haven't given a name to layer 14, so I can't use it. So I'm gonna put towers here. I'm going to click back here. See, now I can use this, right? So the idea is that whichever object you want to interact, for the raycast to interact with that object, you put it at whichever layer you want the raycast to work. Now, if I didn't put anything like that, see, it doesn't give me an error, right? It still works. It just means that the raycast is going to detect anything regardless of layer, right? Me personally, I prefer using layers just because it keeps things tight. It prevents doing any weird stuff, right? Like wrongfully selecting the wrong object or whatever, right? About DLC, what the fuck? Yeah, like an expansion / story content. I think they're just talking about the bonus DLC from launch. I didn't look into it. Expansions would be surprising. Well, hey, I just hope they keep wasting money on their shitty quote-unquote AAA games. It was just the launch DLC, 2 skins, digital art book, and soundtrack, all for the low price of $30. Bro, fuck that shit. Not worth it. Okay, so just give me a second. I'm gonna go fill up my water bottle. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Alright. So, yeah, so let's go back to ChatGPT's explanation. Yeah, so it shoots a ray into the scene up to 1000 units long. Filters hits because it can hit multiple things, so that it only reacts to objects on layer 13, your placement layer exactly. If it hits something, stores the hit information in the mouse coordinates placement, right? Like this thing right here, right? And then the line if mouse coordinates placement dot collider dot compare tag is this. What it's doing, checks if the object hit has the placement area tag, yeah. If yes, stores the game object into current placement area object. If it hits nothing, then it resets. Exactly, right? So in other words, here only if it actually hits an object that is on the placement layer and that object has the placement area tag, only then does it assign the current placement area object equals whatever we hit, right? Otherwise, we reset the value of this object here, right? About Game Pass or wish list item, blah, blah. Good to hear Randy is not eating more. Well, I ate it before the stream. Okay, so just give me a second. Where were we? Okay, perfect. What it's doing, if the recast doesn't hit anything or hits something not tag placement area, the system clears the current, placement reference, exactly. Layer mask bit shifting. Okay, there you go. So it's going to explain this. So this creates a layer mask for raycasting. Bit shifting 1 by 13 means you're only checking layer 13. The layer mask ensures raycasts don't waste time checking irrelevant objects. Exactly. Why use raycasts? Mouse click detection to see what the player is clicking on. Object selections like selecting a unit or tower. Placement previews. So positioning, building / units. Line of sight / vision for AI or enemies. Exactly, right? And and also just to give you guys another example of like why the range here might be useful. It's for games like FPSs, right? Whenever you have a character like a sniper or whatever, basically like a hit scan character, what people mean by hit scan is raycast, right? Like that means that the projectiles of the gun or whatever are made using raycasts, and so this would basically be the range of the player's weapon, for instance, right? And so that's the idea, right? Like hit scan characters shoot raycasts, and that's why they can like instantly or almost instantly hit their targets. We're thinking of two different raycasts. It's also a name of a Mac app launcher. Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, no, I only know raycasts for Unity. But yeah, so where was I? Okay, layer bit shifting. Yep. Yeah, so your script in summary, what it does, blah blah blah. Tower raycast placeholder. Yeah, so here it's doing something to show me how I could use the tower raycasting stuff, but I'm gonna use it later. Blah blah blah. Tips as you build further. Use debug.drawRay to visualize the ray in the scene. So see this, I've never used it in my life, but it might be interesting, right? Consider raycast all if you want to detect multiple objects along the line, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so actually let's do this. Let's do this. Let's add player manager. Let's say no. Let's say player manager here. Let's just temporarily do that. Placement indicator object, train placement area object. Yeah, we're gonna keep these like that. So now let's see if it's actually gonna create the raycast. Okay, I can't really see it. Is it giving me an error message? The variable player object of level boundaries has not been assigned. Okay, who gives a shit? Okay, so hold on. So now let's click on this. Let's add it to the placement layer, and then placement area. Let's see. It's placement area. Yeah. Okay. Also, let me just see something here. Manager, blah blah blah. Okay. So hopefully now it works. Because maybe it wasn't showing it just because. Is it? No, exactly. It's not really showing it. Oh wait, because bro, I am so stupid. I never actually implemented this thing. Jesus. Hold on. So let's see. There you go. Okay. So now hopefully it should work. And now I'm actually gonna remove this default, right? They're all default, yeah. And untagged, perfect. So now hopefully it should show it. Is it showing it? No, not yet. Oh no, wait. I'm so stupid. It's because I only made it. Okay, hold on. See here, it only works if we've detected something, right? So in other words, what I'm gonna do is change this to green, and then do the same thing here, right? And change it to red whenever we're not. Actually, yeah. There you go. Like that. And then here, I'm just gonna do if placement area object is not null. There you go. See, these things aren't complicated, but sometimes they're so simple that you simplify them way too much in your mind and you forget how to do stuff. Yeah, when the teacher makes more mistakes than the students, exactly. Okay, hold on. So let's do this. So now hopefully it should work. Or maybe not. Bro, what the fuck is this? Oh no. Fuck! I'm so stupid. Well, no, hold on. It should work. It should work because it's checking if this is like that. Now let's just do this just in case. Because again, as I said, like I never use this just because I use different ways of debugging it. But let me see. Okay, it's not really showing much of anything. Is it showing it in the scene? Oh, okay, yeah, okay, there you go. It's showing it, oh, fuck. It's showing it in the scene, but it's not showing it in the game view, that's why. Okay. So, hold on, game dev tutorials layout. Oh, there you go. Scene. Scene, okay, there you go. Yeah, that's why. Okay, now that makes sense, okay. Right, so let me just give you an example. So here, as you can see, it's red, you know. Now let me just click on this, change it to placement area. And now let's look at this. Okay, not quite. Right, now we're so close, we can't miss. Okay, well now in theory, it should be green. But the problem is that this one here is overlapping. So let's delete this one. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Placement area, placement, like that. Okay, well, anyways, it's still showing it red, whatever. The point is, it does work, right? Ultimately, whether it changes the color or not is irrelevant. Or maybe it's because it doesn't detect when you change it dynamically, whatever, doesn't matter, right? The point is, it works, right? I was just gonna say the draw array / line method. Doesn't it only show in the inspector? I don't, yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. I had to deal with something like this. You probs have to set something else to get, yeah, exactly. Sup, my was, you keeping that TD's hand strong? Yeah, so basically right now I'm still only showing the raycasts, right? And now the next step is I'm gonna make a brand new scene. Sorry, I'm gonna make a brand new scene, and I'm going to actually show you, like I'm gonna try to get a very basic type of what do you call it, like a very basic type of holy shit, of gameplay loop going. Well, I'm probably not gonna have enough time to do the gameplay loop for the tower defense game, but I'm gonna try to at least get the tower placement working for today, right? Because again, like I still have a lot of work to do on my game, so some of these streams might be a bit shorter than usual. Maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see, right? But yeah, once I'm done with what I'm currently doing in my game, I'm gonna have way more time to stream, like almost all day, every day, basically. So, okay, so where were we? We were here. Okay, there you go. So let's say whatever, right? Let's just do it like that. Okay, so now let's copy paste this here for the tower raycast. Mouse coordinates tower, mouse ray towers, when mouse over any tower, right? 3 towers, tower, layer mask, towers. Okay, and now here we're gonna remove this. We're gonna remove this. And there you go, just so that we have something here, right? So now the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create, I'm gonna add some code here that's gonna make it so that wherever the mouse cursor is, right, or like wherever the raycast specifically hits, it's going to move an object there, right? So that it, what do you call it? It's gonna move an object at that specific spot, so that it, so that we can see in real time where the mouse cursor is, let's say, right? So what I'm gonna do is right here. Okay, so hold on. Perfect explanation. Thank you very much. Now, could you help me add code? Now the thing is, I've done this before, but I haven't really played with Raycasts in maybe 2.5 years, so I'm a bit rusty. You know, well, no, it's not like an aim icon. It's more like, well, you'll see what I mean. It's gonna be obvious, right? I just checked debug rendering is separated. If you want to represent it in game, you have to draw using normal renders that mimic the debug. Well, see, again, that's the thing. I'm not gonna do it in any way that is as fancy as you guys describe it. Trust me, like when you see it, it's gonna be the most ghetto thing ever, right? But it works, and it's helpful specifically for the context of a tower defense game, right? And you'll see what I mean. Okay, so as I said, I haven't done this in a while. I think I know how to do it, but I'm still gonna ask ChatGPT just in case, because I'm fucking lazy. And if you're not lazy, well, fuck you. Okay, so now could you help me add code to this? Okay. Okay. Oh, no. To this. So that this variable so that the placement indicator variable moves exactly moves to the exact position in 3D space where the raycast hit. Hopefully it's gonna understand what I mean by this. Absolutely, you're almost there. You just need to set the blah 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 position. Yeah, exactly. Here's your updated blah blah blah. So here, if mouse raycast placement area. Okay, move. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah. So exactly. As I remembered, it was like one line of code, but I was just way too lazy to go back into my old scripts. Oh wait, no. Like this. Move the placement indicator to the hit point. Okay, there you go. Okay. So placement indicator dot transform dot position exactly equals this dot point. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Johnny Sins is turning to flabbies. Jesus. All right. For those of you who don't understand, it's because I look a lot like Johnny Sins in real life. So people always make that fucking joke. Even at the gym, every time I go to the gym, someone's like, yo, bro, I thought Johnny Sins walked in. I was like, Jesus Christ. God damn it. Anyways, um, placement indicator object, that transform, that position, muscular. Okay, yeah, perfect. So now, oh, well, actually, yeah, fuck it. We're gonna add this back to it, Raycast manager. And now we're just gonna create a sphere, a placement indicator, materials. Okay, transparent. Okay, I'm gonna change it to white transparent material. There you go. We're gonna change it to this. Where is it? Okay, there you go. Well, actually, yeah, it doesn't matter where it is because it's gonna move instantly in theory. So now placement indicator. Oh, hold on. Okay, so right now, if you look at it here, right, it's not doing. Now these motherfuckers are coming my way. So first I'm gonna disable the spawner just for a second, right? And now let's see if it can change it in real time, basically. Okay, so as you can see here, it's this transparent sphere, semi-transparent, let's say, right? And now let's select these three. Let's change it to placement area and placement layer. Oh, okay, so see, now it turned green, basically. Oh, it's because, okay, yeah. Okay, now I get it. So the reason why this one here, it didn't react to green, it's because it didn't have a collider. Because this is another thing. Hold on, this is actually really important. It's because, again, this uses physics.raycast, so it can only detect things that have a collision box, basically, right? And as you can see here, box collider, right? So even though they don't have a rigid body, they have a box collider, so that's why it detects the green. There you go. See, so now it works properly. I'm so sorry to Johnny Sins. You explained this before. It's your fault for telling us all about this, and then you get. Hey, listen, it's the truth. I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm not necessarily proud of it either. Okay. So now, if you noticed, so you see the sphere used to be here, now it's here. You know. So now, if you look, see, this is what I use as a way of checking, right? So for instance, for my game, imagine if this sphere represented where I'm aiming, right? Pew, 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 pew. You see? Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so now that this is done, player manager. Okay, so now that this is done, what I'm going to do, oh fuck, oh my nose is itchy. Okay, what I'm gonna do is come here into the scenes. We have our platformer scene, and now I'm going to create, the fuck, how do I create a new scene? Scene, I'm retarded. Okay, scene, tower, defense. Now we're gonna do this, boom. Okay, so main camera, blah blah blah. Hello Russian, hope you're doing well. So now the idea is I'm gonna create 3D object, a plane, at 0 0 0. We're gonna move here. This is gonna be hold on, terrain. It's gonna be 100 by 100, right? Okay, that's pretty good enough. Okay. And now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start showing you guys how we can construct new scripts by like recycling old ones, basically, right? So let's go into our assets, script. First of all, platformer script, game manager. Let's open it up. Collision test, no. Explosion test, not right now. Level boundaries, no. Movement pattern, no. But that's probably gonna be tomorrow. No, no. Player body, no. Player explosion legs, nope. Player, oh, that's game manager. I'm stupid. Player manager. There you go. Player upgrades manager, projectile. Let's do spawner manager just for me to have a reference to how to instantiate stuff. Okay. So now I'm gonna go back to my scripts, go here into tower, and then do mono behavior script, and it's gonna be call it player input manager, or player manager tower defense TD. There you go. All right. So let's just wait for it to set up and load everything. There you go. Let's go here into materials. Boom, they're gray just so that it's a bit easier on the eyes. Okay, let's go back here. Scripts, tower defense. Okay, player manager, tower defense. So now let's go here. Let's just okay, so I could go all the way down and like copy paste everything, but it's 600 lines of code and we're gonna delete like at least 80% of it. So that's not really practical, right? Instead, what we're gonna do is so actually I'm gonna open this up like that. So by dragging and dropping, right, you can like move it out and then put it back in, right? So now, no, not this like that. Okay, there you go. So now this I'm gonna put on my other monitor, so you're not gonna be able to see. Oh Jesus. Okay, well, it closed everything. That's lovely. Nope. Yes. That's right. Okay, hold on. Okay, there you go. Okay. Perfect. So, as I was saying, move the, okay, no, that's irrelevant. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is just copy paste this, right? Like that, and then, no. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is public static player manager td player manager td instance. There you go. So now we have a singleton of this, right? Just split the main monitor in half by hovering against the side node. Yeah, well, I don't want to do that, so fuck you, bitch. I'm just kidding. I love you. Okay, so we're gonna erase this. Hello chat. Also, who is streaming all day? No, I'm not streaming all day, but eventually, like once I get to doing the live streams for my strategy game, I'm obviously not gonna be streaming all day, but it's gonna be much longer streams, right? And they're gonna be way more chill. It's just gonna be like hanging out, talking with people, stuff like that, right? While I also like work on the visuals of my game and you guys can like help out, right? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do here is we're not gonna rotate the camera because it's a strategy game. Not a strategy game, but a tower defense. But this, it's the same point. It's an like isometric or whatever. Not isometric, but I forgot what it's called. But it's like the like diagonal looking camera, like in typical MOBAs and strategy games and whatever. Right, and okay, public int. Okay, no, that we're not gonna use, but this we are going to use. So we're gonna do this like that, which is again like right now I'm just copy pasting stuff from my platformer, right? I don't think it's isometric. Hold on, let's ask Google. What do you call the camera type used in RTS games? Okay, yeah, isometric perspective. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, in RTS games, the camera type is most commonly referred to as isometric perspective, while technically not true isometric. Okay, yeah, projection is the closest term to describe the angled top view typically used in RTS games. Other terms used include overhead perspective or bird's eye view. Well, bird's eye, exactly. Bird's eye is not the best. Oh yeah, bro, Age of Mythology, best game ever. Or at least one of the best games ever. But yeah, like this type of stuff, right? Like where you're looking from above, right? Yeah, like that. Exactly. Okay. What a dope. All right. So we're not gonna be doing vertical movement. As I said, we're not gonna be rotating the camera. We're not gonna have player stats necessarily. So what I'm gonna do is just copy, wait, paste. There you go. There you go. Okay. And now, where was the horizontal movement? Player horizontal movement. I'm literally, oh, Jesus, I'm stupid. There you go. Player horizontal movement. There you go. Okay, there you go. And now all of this in the late update. There you go. Is jumping no. No. So hold on. Like that, because I might use space eventually. So I'm not sure. But then this we're gonna just delete. Or I guess just do it like that. There you go. Mouse button 1, yeah, same thing for now. We're not gonna have anything. Same thing for left click. There you go. Middle mouse, yeah, middle click. Okay, perfect. Real isometric is the faked 3D environments using 2D graphics. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have this here. Okay, so far so good. Blah, blah, blah. Move upward. Okay, well, these Q and E we're not really going to be using. But whatever. Okay, player torso object. Flat forward. Okay, gotcha. So we're just going to do... Instead of player torso object, we're gonna do, where are the core variables? Okay, core player variables, player manager TD object, okay, main camera object, etc. Okay, so now we don't need any of these. Instead, I'm gonna use the like that. Get the flat forward and right directions. Ignore. Okay, yeah. So then rotate legs. Okay, hold on. So now. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we don't need that. Player vertical movement. Yeah, no, exactly. So we don't need this. Okay, there you go. Yeah, because that was for the mech, for the legs to rotate towards the direction which we're going. Yeah. Okay, move upward. We're not going to do anything. Same thing with move downward. And again, like I'm going quickly, and the reason why I'm just not outright deleting these is it's just in case I end up deciding to use the Q and E keys to do something. I already kind of have some code, so I'll just have to change these booleans, right? So move downward, bool, move upward, bool, move right, move backward, boolean, move left, bool, and move forward, also bool. Okay, amazing. Ugh. Oh, my nose is itching. Okay. So now, let's do, okay, so let's go back to ChatGPT and say, all right, thanks a lot. So basically, I'm making a prototype for a 3D tower, tower defense game, and I'm going to set up the camera's position and angle so that it fits with the typical RTS/MOBA camera, isometric. What would be the angle that the camera looks at? God, this is not super clear, but I hope it understands. Stop treating the robots like people. Would you treat a they them with this kind of respect? No. Yeah, well, the difference is that the robots are useful to society. The they thems are not. So, you know, the robot is helping me, so I will treat it with respect. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. So for a 3D tower defense game, using a traditional RTS/MOBA style isometric camera, you're aiming for a balance between clarity, seeing a good portion of the map, and tactical visibility, depth and unit placement. So here's a common configuration used in RTS/MOBA games. So X, Y, and Z depends on your map size. Usually something like 0, 20, minus 20. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. Okay. Not directional light. We're gonna do camera 0, 20, minus 20. Okay. Far near 0.01. There you go. Field of view 60. Far 10,000. Just because why the fuck not? Oops, not this. Rotation 45, 45. So, oh, I see. Well, yeah, okay. There's nothing much to see, right? Okay. And then, what does it say? About 60 for perspective, or yeah, field of view. Okay, 60. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is create an empty object, player manager tower defense. We're gonna make the camera as a child of the player manager. Actually, we're going to create another game, which is going to be game manager. Like that over here. There you go. Ah, fuck. Okay. Okay, and now as we said, it was like 20 minus 20. Okay, this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, etc. Player manager, player movement speed, let's say 5. And then here, let's add a bunch of cubes, right? Like that. Okay, let's do this. Raycast manager. Sphere. Let's do placement indicator. Let's also put it here. Go into materials, transparent, white, transparent, player, blah, blah, blah. Placement indicator. Now this, we're gonna change it to placement area, placement. Okay, there you go. And actually, all of the cubes, I'm also gonna change them to placement area and placement, just to show you guys how it looks, right? Like, let's change the cubes to, there you go, to make them a bit bigger. Okay, so now hopefully everything should be kind of working, right? Yeah. Okay. Are we moving? Oh, no, because I forgot to set this up like that. For now, I don't have any code for the main camera object, but I'm still putting it in just in case I might decide to do something with it, you know? Like, you never know. Okay. Yeah, see? Okay, well, it's a bit slow. So let's double the speed. Okay, but... Okay, yeah, so because the angle is weird... Yeah, okay, so because the angle... okay, hold on. Like that, 0, 0, 0. So 45, oh, 0, oh. 45, and then here we're gonna do 45. There you go. So now, hopefully, it should... fuck. 15. Okay, there you go. See? Yeah, and now if you look closely, hold on, I'm actually gonna change these a bit. Like that, right? This one I'm gonna... Hold on. Change it like that. Maybe like that. This one I'm gonna change it like that, you know? Okay, so now let's look. And it's gonna be easier for you guys to see how the placement, you see the placement indicator? How it stands, you know? On the, yeah, well, here there's the shadow, so it's a bit more difficult to see. But you see what I mean? So there you go. So that's how you do, let's say, the placement. So the idea is that I'm only going to have certain areas. Cool whip. Cool whip. I think that's how Peter Griffin says it, right? But basically, what I'm thinking is we're gonna have only certain areas where the player can build,
and then other areas where like all of the little like enemies or whatever are gonna trickle in, right? Like I'm thinking of doing a a more typical tower defense game where the enemies have like lanes, right? So hold on, let's take a screenshot of this, right? It's gonna be easier, right? So let's say you have like your lanes like that, and then can I change the color? Blue pen. Okay, hold on. Oh, custom pen. No. Customize. Thick. Blue. Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so like you're gonna have like the enemies moving around, you know, like that, right? And then you're gonna have the towers, and then you're gonna have like the build areas, which are, let's say, gonna be like this, right? Let's say, right? Like just truly amazing art, right? But that's the idea, right? So that's what I'm thinking of doing. You know, like as I said, like tower defense is one of the easiest fucking genres to make, right? Like as you can see, we're already like way ahead compared to the platformer stuff we've been doing so far, right? So we're gonna do this like that. Are you going with splines for the unit paths or just collision prisms? Like I'm gonna reuse the like uh, pathing pattern or whatever it was called, right? Like I'm straight up just gonna reuse the code that I used to do like the first AI type, if you remember correctly, in the platform, the one that like the moment it hits a cube, it just like it's always moving forward, but the moment it hits a cube, it just changes the direction in which it's facing, right? Because like that's all you really need, you know. So we're gonna do it like that, right? Uh, okay, so now let's think of um, something. Now I'm gonna click this, hold on, and I'm gonna put it untagged default. So the normal area is not, the placement area is not gonna be interactable, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a cube and call it placement area. There you go. This here, I'm gonna move it like that, I guess. Yeah, I can remove these four. Okay, so placement area, let's make it 5 by 5, let's say, or maybe 10 by 10, right? So 5 like that. There you go. Okay. Whatever. Let's move this here. And also let's directional light. There you go. So now save. Yeah. Actually, hold on. 45 like that. Then let's just, oh boy. So hold on. Okay, right. So it's gonna be minus 315, no?
So it's gonna be, okay, it's gonna be, yeah, but, now yeah, as you can see, this fucking broke everything, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that, at 45. Or maybe, okay, there you go. There you go, so now we're gonna do this. Yeah, balloons. All right, if it's so easy to make a tower defense game, will you be putting this on the one on the market? This is going to be a prototype, but eventually I will probably, because okay, here's a bit of lore, right, about my game. The initial idea was to make a city builder slash tower defense game, but in order to make it as cool as I wanted it to be, I would have needed to do like real proper 3D models and animations. And I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to go about doing that, because that was like 4 or 5 years ago, basically. That was like in 2020, right? And so that's why I decided to go with a sci-fi strategy game, because I would be able to do cool visuals but not have to do animations, because spaceships don't need animations, right? So that's why. But the original idea was for me to make a city builder slash strategy game, basically. Okay, hold on. Okay, but this one isn't. All right, so placement area. We're gonna do this placement area here. Placement. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna turn the controllable mech into some kind of twin stick shooter while also being able to put defenses down, like a more interactable tower defense game. Well, okay, so the idea that I have right now is we're gonna keep the camera controls really basic, okay? Like as you see them, the way they are right now is about the most they're gonna be, right? And what I'm gonna do is that initially I'm going to do like the most basic stuff, like the basic enemy pathing. That's probably going to be tomorrow. I'm going to do the basic enemy pathing, let's say. And also like the tower placement. I'd like to get the tower placement done today, even though the towers themselves are not going to be working, right? And then I'm going to hopefully tomorrow do the enemy pathing, and then afterwards I'm gonna do the actual tower behavior, right? And the towers shooting at the enemies and the projectiles and all that shit. And then once that's done, when all of this is done, I'm gonna finish by adding UI elements, right? So like stuff like selecting which tower you want to place, updating the score, etc., etc. And then once all of this is done, I'm going to transform this prototype into a city builder, right? Because from the poll, that's the one that won the poll. Let me just confirm for a second. Posts. Yeah. Yeah, city builder slash colony simulator seems to have won the vote. So in order to facilitate the transition from a tower defense prototype to a city builder, I'm already gonna prep the field with stuff, right? So for instance, as you can see, like this type of stuff, where like the Raycast detects even on like vertical surfaces, I'm gonna use that as a mechanic for the city builder game, you know, that you guys are gonna see, right? So let's say this here is a what's it called? It's a holy shit, a an area. What? Oh my god! What do you call it? Like a placement area. There you go. Right. So the idea is that the player can only put towers on like in this area here, right? So what we're gonna do is scripts, tower defense. Hold on. Game dev tutorials, player manager. Okay. So Raycast manager. we're gonna go into the Raycast manager, and here we're gonna do variables for interacting with other other scripts. Okay. Xmorph defense is the best twin stick shooter tower defense. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't think mine is unfortunately going to be a twin stick shooter, but like you'll see, mine is more so going to be inspired from two different genres of games, and I'm going to show them to you guys right now. Just let me. Just give me a second. Oh, what the fuck is this? Okay. Okay, so hold on. So variables for interacting with other scripts. We're gonna do player manager tower defense. Wait, no, stupid. Private player TD current. Oops, no. So this player manager TD script. Okay, and now in void start we're gonna do this player manager equals instance. There you go. So now the Raycast manager has access to the player manager tower defense. Okay, and now what we're gonna do here is in the core variables, or maybe here what I'm gonna do is header like that. Okay, header variables, right? Now here we're gonna do public bool can place tower. Oops, bool. Okay, there you go. And now we're gonna go into the Raycast manager, and so if physics.raycast blah 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 blah, right? If mouse coordinates etc placement area, right? What we're gonna do here is if script.can place tower bool equals false, then we're gonna do td script.can place tower boolean equals true. Exactly, and then else if so manager tower defense dot can place tower bool equals true. Then we're just gonna copy paste this. There you go. The same yeah, Rift Breaker is the same team's follow-up is pretty cool, but it's more stick shooter than tower defense. As I'm paid to bring up any of Randy's potential competitors, AGT will make Randy step up his game. I actually find it hard to focus on my own work while watching someone else program, so I might as well do something helpful. All right, that's good to know. Okay, hold on. Let's focus back up. Where were we? Okay, yeah. So, I can't place tower defense. Okay, yeah. So, right. Okay. Okay, so if I remember correctly, okay, because now I'm going back in time in my mind to the last time I made a tower defense, which was like in 2020. Or actually, no, it was in 2019. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. Okay, so if I remember correctly, what I ended up doing was Okay, so we're gonna go into player manager tower defense, and then here we're gonna do, let's come here and just copy paste a list. There you go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is public. I'm gonna create a list of all the different towers the player is going to have. So players towers prefabs list, new list. Oh. There you go. List element equals tower prefab. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Actually, okay, yeah. Wowie zowie. All right. So, where was it? So that's middle click. Okay, hold on. And now, where was my player input? Player input. Get mouse button down. Blah blah blah. Aha. Bitch. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Copy and paste. Mouse wheel up. Mouse wheel up. Yeah. These are obviously not correct anymore. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do here is public integer current tower ID. Actually 0, right? This is used to determine which tower will be placed. And also, hold on, I'm going to do this like that, public list. So I'm going to have two lists, okay? Players, towers, placement, prefabs list. There you go. Index equals tower ID. Okay. Wait, you mean you should be working AGT? Have my own projects in my spare time, so not paid work, if you know what I mean. Yep. All right. So index, tower ID, and then list element equals tower prefabs placement. Okay. So what do I mean by this, right? Like right now I spent the last maybe 5 to 10 minutes like setting shit up, right? So the idea is as follows, okay? What I'm gonna do is the player is going to use his raycast, and the moment the raycast detects that the player's mouse is on top of a placement area, which means that it's an area where you can place towers, it's gonna because it has a permanent reference to the player manager tower defense script, it's gonna say it like, hey, you can place towers, right? It's gonna turn the boolean into true, right? And then basically the moment the player isn't pointing, doesn't have their mouse over a placement area, it's gonna do the opposite, right? And then what I'm gonna do is here in the player TD, so we have the late update, blah blah blah. What I'm gonna do here is void tower placement manager. There you go. And this is only ever going to be active if can place tower bool equals true. Then we're gonna do placement tower placement manager. There you go, right? Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay, so just give me a second. So now I'm kind of gonna show you guys two of my favorite tower defense games, just to give you guys a kind of idea. Mistaken for homeless. Okay. Cool. Um, what was it? Oh my god, what was it called? Revenge of the Titans, I think. Revenge of the Titans, yeah, like this is an old game. Elysium Gargantuan. Okay, oh my god. Okay, I need something with better quality. Hold on. Can I find it on Steam? Steam. Welcome to Steam. Revenge of the Titans. Okay. So basically the way this game works... Oh, Jesus, what the fuck? Okay. So the way this game works is that like you have your base here, and these things, which are called Titans, are like moving towards your base, and then you can place towers anywhere you want, right? So this one is very free-flowing, free-form. Like you can really put towers wherever you want, like as you can see, right? And the maps are like procedurally generated, I think, right? So as you can see here, he put some walls up. Here he has like harvesters, etc., etc., right? Honestly, the game is really fun. The game is really fun. Here you have like terrain blocking, but like there's still room for like the aliens to pass through, etc., etc., right? Yeah. And the other game I had in mind is Kingdom Rush. Kingdom Rush. Let's say Alliance. That's the latest one, right? Is it gonna show gameplay? Oh boy. Okay, no, this is... Okay, yeah, this isn't... Okay, gameplay. Yeah. So here, as you can see, you have like the towers, right? And here, so these here are like building sections where like you only click on one building and the tower appears, right? So you can't place towers wherever you want, basically, right? You have to place them in specific spots, and the enemies move in specific areas, right? So like this game and the previous one, Revenge of the Titans, are very different tower defense games, right? So what I'm thinking is kind of making a like hybrid between both of these, right? In the sense that yes, the enemies are always going to move through certain paths, right? But at the same time, the player is going to have a bit more freedom with how they want to place their towers, in the sense that they're going to be able to place however many towers they want in anywhere that's not like the path of the enemies, for instance, right? Billions of times is different. Yeah, well, AGT Infinity, I'm gonna be honest, I love Kingdom Rush. It's one of my like guilty pleasures. I love it. I think it's really fun, but I do agree that they've been milking it, and I'm also gonna say they peaked with the third game. They really peaked with the third game. So Kingdom Rush. Let's just Kingdom Rush. So the original one, where is it? Oh yeah, so one, then we had Frontiers, then Origins, then Vengeance, and then Alliance, right? So first one, pretty decent, right? First one's not bad, but still kind of simplistic, right? Second one is very fun, like really fun. The towers are fairly interesting and whatnot, right? Third one is by far the best, like not even close. It has the coolest towers, the best setting, etc., etc., right? Fourth one was very mid. Like it's not bad, but it's like I don't know. It was missing something, and same thing with the fifth one, basically. The fifth one was also, I don't know, like it was just missing something. Even though they added a bunch of cool mechanics with the fifth one, it still was missing a little something, right? But anyways, back on topic, right? So the idea is the slappening begins. I know who the original is, but on mobile, the exact same thing has been made a billion times with different. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, so Kingdom Rush is the OG one, and it's really the best of this type of tower defense. But after Kingdom Rush came out, everyone just copied Kingdom Rush and made like a shit ton of slop versions of it. So, anyways, so back on topic. So what I was saying is, let's go to paint. It's that, let's say we have the paths, right? Like the different paths or whatever, right? And then we're gonna have basically build areas, right? Let's say like that. Oops. Yeah, like that. Which the player can then use, right? To place however many units like towers they want, right? And so the idea is that certain towers are going to be of a certain size, right? So maybe you have a tower that's this big, another one that's this big, one that's like this small, you know, whatever. And what I'm thinking is we can also have like adjacency bonuses, right? So like this tower here provides like an adjacency bonus to all of these, right, etc., right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Well, yeah, Revenge of the Titans is fun, but the only problem is that the way it's designed is that the money you end up with at the end of a mission carries over to the next mission. And so basically, if you fuck up like towards the second half of the game, where like the levels get really difficult, right? If you fuck up one mission, you're kind of fucked, because then you start the next mission with like no money whatsoever, you know. So again, it's like a 15-year-old game. It's fun, but it's far from perfect, right? So, holy shit, I've already been going for like an hour and a half. Okay, so before we end the stream, what I'm gonna try to do is get the tower placement mechanic working, just so that we have that done. And then tomorrow we're gonna work on the enemy AI, and if we have time, like the tower projectiles and stuff, right? So the idea, okay. Well, that's good if it felt like 5 minutes. So the idea is, oh
yeah, baby.
Sorry. Okay, so we have the tower placement manager here. Yeah. So Azaz can place tower boolean. This is going to appear, right? And what we're gonna do is, okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, public game object current tower to place object. This is the tower that the player currently has selected for placement. Okay, so now let's go back to my spawner script here. There you go. We're gonna copy this line, and now we're just gonna put this line here. Okay, it's gonna give me a bunch of errors. That's fine, because this is just as a reference, right? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, okay? So the idea is, the moment the player's mouse is on top of a placement area, this boolean, the can place tower boolean, becomes true, which means that the tower placement manager, starts running once every frame, which means like 60 times a second, right? And now what we want to do is for a tower to appear similar to the placement indicator, right? Like you remember the little sphere that would follow wherever the raycast is. We want the same thing to appear, but to be representative of a tower, right? But we don't want it to appear a million times, right? So what we're gonna do... Oh shit, okay. Okay, yeah. I was gonna make it so much more complicated than it has to be. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is first go through the the placement towers list and activate/deactivate all relevant tower placement objects. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is if list prefab tower placement prefabs list tower ID, current tower ID dot active self equals false. Okay, so then we're gonna do this. Or actually no, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a for loop index 0 equals 0. So now I hope you guys kind of remember how the for loops worked, right? We're gonna go through every single list element in this list. So let me explain to you the whole logic, right? The logic is that whenever the player uses the mouse scroll wheel, right, which is here the get axis mouse scroll wheel, right? Whenever he uses that, he's going to change the value of this variable here, which is the current tower ID, right? And then we're going to use whatever value this is to fetch the placement prefab, which matches the prefabs list, right? So for instance, tower 0 and tower placement prefab 0, right? Both of these are kind like they're linked with one another, right? And so the idea is here, what we're going to do is we're going to go through this entire list. We're going to deactivate every single tower whose ID does not match the current tower ID. And then once we find the current tower ID, we're going to activate it or whatever, right? So players, towers, placement, prefabs list, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so for this, that, the other. Okay, yeah, minus prefabs list dot, yeah, is lower loop plus plus. There you go. Okay, and so now what we're gonna do is if loop index 0 is not equal to current tower ID, you're gonna do this loop index dot set active false. Otherwise, else if loop index 0 equals current tower ID, you're gonna do this loop index dot set active true. There you go. Okay, and then what we're gonna do here is with the left click is if can place tower bool equals true. Eventually I'm gonna add more to this if statement, but for now we're gonna keep it basic. Because basically right now, assuming it works, we're gonna basically be able to stack towers together. So eventually I'm gonna have to add hey Mikai, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time for it today, but eventually I'm gonna add a thing that prevents towers from like stacking on top of each other, basically, right? So if can place tower equals true, what I'm gonna do is horizontal placement, tower placement manager. So here I'm gonna do void place current tower. Oops. Place current tower, and then here I'm gonna do place current tower. There you go. There you go. Okay. So, okay, so tower placement manager. And then once this is active, what I'm gonna do is this dot okay, wait, hold on, I need a reference. So variables for interacting with other scripts. We're gonna do private Raycast manager. This Raycast manager script. What? Not Raycaster, Raycast manager. There you go. Okay. And then here we're gonna do Raycast manager script equals Ray instance. There you go. Okay. So now here, what we're gonna do is dot transform dot position equals Raycast manager dot transform dot position. No, not dot transform dot position equals dot indicator placement indicator dot transform dot position. There you go. Okay. And now here what we're gonna do is very simple. We're gonna instantiate newly spawned tower, let's say. Yeah, newly placed, whatever. Newly placed tower, instantiate tower prefabs list, tower ID, and then here we're gonna do this like that, and then okay, hold on. Oh my god. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, so now the idea is, okay, we're gonna stop this. Okay, perfect. So now the idea is whenever the player has his mouse on a placement area, this script is gonna go through its list. It's gonna find what the current ID is. It's gonna change, it's gonna activate the specific tower, right? But here it's only gonna activate a like placeholder object that just shows us where the tower is, and then it's gonna move the tower so that it matches where we're clicking on, whatever, like where the mouse raycast is on the placement area. And then the moment the player presses left click, it's gonna place the current tower, right? And now here what I'm gonna do is public void reset tower placement. Okay, reset tower placement. And now all I'm gonna do is
well, it's actually this. This dot set active false. There you go. It's a public void. And now here, otherwise, when this raycast isn't in contact with the placement area, then reset it to null. And also this player manager today dot reset tower placement. Okay. And now the last thing we're gonna do here is here we're gonna do if current tower ID is lower than prefabs list dot count. We're gonna do tower ID plus equals 1, else if current tower ID is greater or equal to this, we're gonna do equals 0. And then here we're gonna do the opposite. So if this is greater than 0, we're gonna do minus equal 1. And then if this is lower or equal to 0, lower or equal to 0, we're gonna do it prefabs list dot count, oops, minus 1. Okay, so now let's just, okay, wait, come on, load, you bitch. Okay, there you go. Okay, player manager ID, raycast, blah blah blah. Okay, so now we need some prefabs here, but before even testing the prefabs, all I'm gonna do is test out the, hold on, actually let's do that like that. See, it never goes past 2, right? 0 1 0 1 2. But oh, hold on, yeah, there you go. So there's the bug. It's this, no, okay, so it's if current blah 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 is lower than this minus 1, else if it's equal, it's greater or equal to this. Okay, there you go. So now let's see. So here I'm gonna add 2 list elements, right? So it should again, like, because the index is, so there's a total of 2 elements, so it should go between 0 and 1, right? Because before it was going 0 1 2. Yeah, 0 1 0 1. Okay, let's add 100. See, boom boom boom, we're going down to 0. There's 100 elements, so the first element is 0, and then when we go back it's 99. When we go up it's back to 0. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna create some prefabs, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna instantiate the prefabs. And that's probably going to be where we're going to end the stream. So let's just create some cubes, tower, yeah, tower blue, tower red, tower green, and tower yellow. Let's say, let's go to the materials. Hold on. We're gonna do, fuck, the fuck? Okay, there you go. Jesus. Tower blue placement. Tower red placement. tower yellow. Placement, okay? So now I'm gonna move all of these here just to make some room, right? Okay, hold on. Let's move them all to 8, 0, minus 50. And then this is gonna be, I don't know, 12, okay. Okay, then these are gonna be minus 45, minus 40, then minus 35. There you go. Okay, so now we're gonna do blue material. Oops. Red material, yellow material, green material. We're gonna go into the transparent ones. And now we're gonna do transparent blue, transparent green, transparent red, and transparent yellow. Okay, like that. Okay, and now we're gonna go into the player. So do you see how much easier it is to make a tower defense? Like, it is so much easier. It takes so little time. Red. Actually, okay, here's another way we can do this quicker. Right? There you go. Just gonna take 1, 2, oh, hold on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna lock it top right. Boom. 2, 3, 4. Boom. Okay. Turn tower to place. All right. Black towers are sus. I don't have black towers. I have blue towers. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Ah, jeez. All right. Hopefully it's still working. Okay. I closed my my YouTube studio page. Hold on. Okay. Is everything working? Yes, no, maybe. Like, did the stream cut off randomly for you guys or no? Yes, no, maybe. Oh, it cut off? No, nothing's what do you mean? Did the stream cut off? Yes or no? Hold on. Can hear you just fine. See you too. We can hear you. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay. So let me check to see. I think everything should be working. Basically, let's save. See, we can't hear you or see you. Okay. Bro, it's getting so warm in here. I'm like sweating my ass off. All right. Okay, so now in theory it should be working. Okay. So now we can move this. Okay. And now in theory, so element 0 here, it shows the tower, right? The blue tower or whatever, right? So now in theory, the moment my mouse goes on this placement area or any of these, right? But we're gonna start with this. In theory, a blue prefab should appear actually. Yeah, and now it disappears. See? And now if I were to click left click, it should spawn an actual blue tower. See? Now let's change red, green, boom, yellow, boom, red, boom. See? There you go. And now here I can have some red towers that are shooting from the walls. I can have some green ones like this. Something also that's kind of cool is I can put them here on the corners, right? I can even do a staircase like that, you know? So you see what I mean? So there you go. We have our, and if I want, I can like actually stack them on top of each other, right? So I can just do this, right? Hold on. Fuck it. Maybe the surface is too small. All right, hold on. I'm gonna grab placement area and I'm gonna make it 5. Oh, wait, no. Placement area. Hold on. Yeah, okay, this. So I'm gonna make it 20 by 20. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Let's. Oh shit, okay, hold on. Ooh. No. Okay, so this is another problem. It's that it spawned a shit ton of them like all stacked on top of each other, right? So this is a bug that eventually we're gonna have to fix, right? But now what I want to do is there you go. Beautiful. Hold on. The placement area is there you go. Beautiful. Amazing. Yeah, all right. Don't look, chat. Okay, so what's the last thing we're gonna do? I'm gonna try to add code so that we don't like spam a shit ton of towers, right? So no, if it was that domain, it would be red. Come on now. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a timer, a classic timer that's gonna be public float tower placement cooldown timer f equals -1, right? And then public float tower placement cooldown elapsed f. Okay. And then float, or actually, yeah, I could just keep these two together. And so all I'm gonna do is oh no, wait. I'm complicating my life so fucking much. Hold on. I don't even need to do the timer. What I was gonna do is make a timer, and like whenever the timer has elapsed, the player can place a tower, so that way like you don't place like 50 towers in a frame, you know what I mean? But instead, all I'm gonna do is where is it? Okay, get mouse button up. True, during the frame the user releases the mouse button. There you go. So it's only going to be on one frame, you know? So get mouse button up. So just by changing this, now I should not be able to spam towers anymore, right? I shouldn't be able to basically draw with them. Okay, hold on. See? So now, right now I'm holding left click and nothing's happening, but then the moment I release, boom. You see? So if I spam, then yes, right? But it's not It's not as extreme as it was before. Okay, there you go. Boom, problem solved. Easy peasy. Okay, so for tomorrow's stream, what I'm actually going to do is start setting up the enemy pathing as well as the enemy spawning script. But again, like it's going to be super quick because I'm going to be reusing the spawner script from the what's it called? The oh my god, the platformer prototype that we did. And same thing with the movement pathing. I'm going to be reusing that, which is going to be very, like, it's going to save us a shit ton of time, right? And then once I'm done with that, if we have time, because again, I don't know if we're going to have time, but if we end up having time, I might start doing the actual projectile stuff, like for the towers to actually look at the enemies and shoot at the enemies, right? And in order to do that, I'm going to show you guys a technique that I like to use in order to calculate like the range, the firing range of the towers and how they detect enemies and so on and so forth, right? Actually, there are lots of different ways of doing it, you know? So we'll see. But yeah, so we're going to try to do that. If I don't have time to do the tower projectiles, it's going to be next week. Otherwise, you know, we'll see. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys learned as much as possible from this one. I'm shocked at how many people have been watching, not only in today's stream, but also last week's stream. All right, thanks for the stream, Randy. I'll see you chat in half an hour, maybe sooner. All right. Yeah, if Zeno is streaming, go check out Zeno's streams. And yeah, like I'm really glad like you guys have been enjoying these. For anybody watching the VOD, I'm just gonna once again link the server just in case. There you go. I linked the server in the stream chat. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at noon as usual. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, take care, boys. Love you all. Hug, kiss. See you next time.